Hey everybody, welcome back to another one of our Blinks lunchtime live streams. I'm John Bobrow, CEO and founder of Move38 and the creator of Blinks. And you'll notice my background today is a little bit different. This is not virtual. I'm actually back at the Move38 studio, and we are taking socially distanced precautions. We've been able to be in the office space a little bit. We have assembly of over 300 developer kits that are going to be taking place in October. And if you're a recent Kickstarter backer, you'll be happy to know that the Kickstarter rewards are out of our factory, boarding planes, and we'll be sending an update on Kickstarter about that soon. Before I really get into it, because today we have a special guest, just like the past number of weeks, we've got a game designer with us, and I'll be giving him an intro in just a moment. If this is your first time joining the live stream, I'd love to give you a quick idea of what are Blinks, the world's first smart tabletop game system. And then Sean and I, our upcoming guest, are going to have a chance to talk through some upcoming games and also what the process of game design looks like. So I'm going to switch my camera setup here. Let's see. So there we go. So if you're new to Blinks, Blinks are these intelligent game pieces. They respond to touch and they communicate with each other. They're these little magnetic hexagons. And when we want to choose a game, it's as easy as picking the one with the game we want to play. So I'll hold up, for example, this one with Mortals on it. And by holding down the top of it for 3 seconds, it goes into program mode. And when I introduce it to all the other Blinks, they all immediately start to learn how to play that game. And so Mortals is now being loaded onto the other Blinks. And here I've got 6 Blinks that come in the core set, 12 if you get the combo. This year we're already at 20 games published, and if you've marked your calendars for October 20th, we'll be releasing the next 6 games on the system. So without any further ado, I'm really excited to bring on Sean. So that's my quick Blinks intro, and there we go. Let me switch over. All right, welcome, Sean.
Hey, Tom, and everyone. How's everyone doing?
So, Sean, give me a little bit of, I'm really excited to have you on today. Give me a little bit of background and give everybody a little bit of background of who you are. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, my name is Sean Pierre. I currently live in Philadelphia, and I do a bunch of game development stuff. And I help organize a community in Philadelphia known as Philly Game Mechanics. We're a charitable organization, and we help independent game developers in Philly, people who want to make this their profession or people who want to remain a hobbyist. So we have game jams and we have talks, and right now we're having virtual meetup sessions every other Thursday, which is online with our normal schedule when we met in person. Yeah, so that's me a little bit what I do. I mentioned I make games, just make a bunch of different types of games.
So we met about 3 years ago, is that right?
3 years ago?
2017, and let's see, I see a disconnection thing, looks like reconnected successfully. In 2017, so we might have cut out a little bit there, but I think we're good. So in 2017, Blinks were just kind of, they were prototypes. Nobody actually owned Blinks yet, but we hosted a game jam at Indiecade.
Yeah, the game jam at when it was at the Museum of Moving Image in Astoria. And we had a game jam, and we tore pages out of a book, and everybody picked themes based on the pages we tore out, and some really great games came out of that game jam, right?
Yeah, actually, a couple of those games went on to be published on the system. Barry, which is like one of my favorite strategy games on the system, was the winner that year. And Sean, this is like, so like that was my first time hosting a game jam of that scale. Like it was really well organized. It was in a really beautiful space. And like, I remember the Indiecade organizers, or some of the, they're like, Sean's gonna take care of you, you know, and like I show up and like, you know, you've got all these teams ready for the game jam, and I was just like, this guy's a game space regular. Like it was just like he knows his way around this space, and it was so cool to see. Um, I don't know. I just if this is tough to describe right now, but as we're all kind of in quarantine and like events have been, but like the energy at a game event is just so amazing, and I feel like yeah, I don't know. I'm curious, like, for you to share a little bit about, because I feel like I got to see through you how to experience a game event.
Uh, well, I mean, so for our game development group, we used to meet every Thursday of the month. Then we switched it to every first and third Thursday of the month. But when we met every Thursday, we would have game jams every single month, which lasted 2 weeks. There was, I think, a point for 3 or 4 years where we always had a game jam. So we probably went 3 or 4 years straight having game jams, which is really cool. So watching other people run it or participating in running game jams, I got a real sense and understanding of what it takes and how many people, what it takes and what you need to do to coordinate, how you encourage people, how you get them excited. Our biggest game jams have definitely had over 50 participants, and those were really fun. Even our non-global game jams. And we always have lots of fun, weird themes. Sometimes we use public domain material. Sometimes we work on games for other people. Someone came up with the idea, the Secret Santa Jam, where you make a jam for someone else, a game for someone else as a gift based on what you think they would like. So there's been really, really interesting jam ideas. We had a profit jam. The goal of the profit jam was to make a game, try and sell it, and then the winner of the jam is the person who actually made the most money. And then we ran profit jam again, and profit was taken as, how can you personally benefit or profit from the game, so it doesn't have to be monetary. Some people went for the money goal, but other people went for other goals. From all these years of being part of the community, I have a real sense of understanding of what I think a game jam needs to be successful. And that's not because of me, it's because of everyone else who participated and ran game jams. I just learned from everyone.
I love that element. I feel like the game community has such a, I mean, it's by definition playful, but I feel like because of those freedoms, people get to rethink, like, even just the idea of rethinking what profitable means. Like, I think as building a company, we think about this a lot. Like, we talk about converting Move 38 to a B Corp eventually. And like, there's I think, a lot of really nice, I don't know, there's lots of room for people to grow and rethink what it means for what real value is in society. So that's cool that you approach that in a game jam that way.
It was one of our more, or I think more people participated in those jams.
So I'm gonna move on a little bit to, I'm curious to hear about, like, what are the things you're thinking about these days. You're working specifically on a Blinks game, and so we can talk about that game in particular and the inspiration for it and progress of it. So I want to let you introduce it. I love the current standing name of it. I just like saying it. So tell us about Mini Big Bots and where this came from.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking of what type of game I wanted to make, and I wondered what a fighting game would look like on the Blinks. So I started playing around with the Blinks, changing the colors and seeing what it could do. And the colors reminded me of, I guess, of Pokemon and how you have different colors. I mean, different colors usually represent the different, I guess, types of Pokemon. So you have like electric, or I don't play that often, so I'm gonna mess up a lot of Pokemon terminology. So forgive
If
me in advance. But you have rock types and electric, and like electric usually signified by yellow, and grass green, water blue, fire red. And I thought, what if I could make something where one type is stronger than another, and you have to really think about what you're using before you send it into battle. So that's where the base started from, and it slowly evolved into combining the blinks to form your own sort of nebulous creature. And maybe sometimes your creature can get different abilities based on what it's paired up with. So that was an idea that is still somewhere. I'm not sure if it'll make the final cut, but yeah. And then I figured I'd move away from animals, fighting animal creature type things, and robots are cool. Everyone likes robots, and they have a bunch of lights, and most people like robots. They light up and they blink, and they have a bunch of fun components. And and robots can, well, in some media, they can reconfigure themselves, and that's what you can do with the blinks really easy. You can reconfigure them to be a different shape, and it can be really interesting. So that's how we settled on the bots theme. And of course, these are small blinks, but they think big, so big bots.
many big. I love that. I love that story and trajectory, and I feel like a couple of years ago, and I brought early versions of Blinks to New York Toy Fair. I ended up meeting the two people responsible for licensing and bringing Pokemon to the U.S. And one of the things when they saw Blinks, actually, they were like, they started to talk about the process of finding Pokemon, and they're just like, the lore and the depth behind that story, like when that started, it was just like a person really building world building, and so it was. I remember when you mentioned Pokemon, you're like, I want to do something in this space and like work with the elements or types. It was like, ooh, I think, and Dan, who's of course our lead game designer, he's like a lifelong Pokemon. I think he's very, very forward about the fact that it is like his favorite universe.
Yeah, I hope I'm not disappointing him.
Dan's been really excited about this project, so I feel like this is actually a good opportunity to talk about it. So with all of the games that we've been publishing, there's been kind of various intervention of Move 38 working with game designers. Some games have come to our forum in near completion. Other games, we've reached out to game designers that we're excited to work with. We've also been working with established game companies and celebrity game designers as well. And every different, one of the things that I think was really important for me was like, Blinks is something that's accessible. Somebody who doesn't know how to program can pick them up and make a game on them. Like anybody can be a game maker. But I think, when we started talking with you about making a game for Blinks, and love this proposed idea, to your point of like, what does Dan think of it? It's like, we know that games, like the most important thing for a game is for it to get play tested and played through. And like, we've also been really cautious about only publishing games when the game designer and Move 38 go, this feels great, this is ready. And so like, tell us a little bit about, like, you've been really actively play testing Mini Big Bots and working through, it's a strategic game, which involves lots of balancing and like things that you can't simply, some of our games are more toy-like, where it's like, you just arrange them, and like the balance of the game maybe doesn't have to be perfect. The balance of the feel of it has to be perfect. But with mini big bots, tell us a little bit about like that process, and also I'm curious to hear like how you've been playtesting during COVID. That doesn't feel easy.
Well, the balance is a little difficult, especially with the first idea about the whole color thing, which colors are good, which colors are good against, I guess, other colors, and what happens when you put certain colors together. Like what happens when a red is next to a yellow? Because if that red takes an attack from a yellow, does it take less damage because it has a boost from the yellow? So that was one of the initial thoughts of I had when trying to think of how will this game work. And then I have right here. So I was thinking about configurations also. Like if I was playing with 6, this would be one configuration, this would be another, and this would be another. And what does each one represent? And an idea was this one's the most defensive, this one's balanced, and this one is the most offensive. So this one does the most attack. So you would need to really think about how you're connecting it to, for example, if I'm an attack one, that could be a balanced one. How much damage does it do? Doesn't matter what color it's attached to. So there were a lot of what works for this. There's a lot of numbers of what gets a boost, what gets, what loses nut points or defense points or attack points. And I had a whole chart with numbers and spreadsheet. But then it slightly moved away from that because that also became a little too complicated because, like you said, blinks are super accessible and they're really easy to pick up and start putting together and attach, and that's really fun in and of itself. So if you have to spend too much time away from the blinks, and I think thinking about what numbers matter and what you should do, then you kind of lose what's really great about them. The fact that you can just keep on moving them around and attaching them and seeing what cool things happen and what lines up. So, now the idea currently is based around changing the configuration by rotating individual, like 1 or 2 or maybe 3 pieces at a time. And what that does is actually allows you to play with more than just 6 blinks. You could just amass a bunch of them and make whatever weird shapes you want and move them around and see what happens. So now that's the current trajectory and what we're shooting for, and hopefully I can bring some more color stuff back into the mix because I want to take advantage of the fun color animations that the blinks can, really do. It's really impressive actually what they can do. Watching some other games, I saw a video for a game called Pirates and Lasers, and the animations for that they're really really cool.
I think it's a nice time to give a shout out. I think Pirates and Lasers this week, I believe it's public. If it's not, I'm going to get my butt handed to me, but they were nominated for an Indiecade Award, so it's cool to see that game getting some really great exposure, and it's going to be shipping for its first time in the next few weeks.
Oh, that's exciting. That's cool.
Jonathan West says it's public. Awesome. Cool.
I should have asked first, yeah.
Also, a comment on the thread is like seeing the games that put an emphasis on arrangements like this. Yeah, I think so. I feel like that's a really cool. I think that's an agreed upon, just cool direction. Like when you get to explore the arrangement of them and the unique arrangements map to unique abilities. Like I think that's really cool. And no doubt, it seems like there's a ton of work in getting that to just feel right and work out right.
Yeah, especially if you're, I guess, trying to make the game work with different number of blinks. One idea that was brought up was maybe I'm better at the game than somebody else, so I only start off with 4 blinks while they start off with 6, so they're automatically at an advantage in terms of number of blinks, because the current idea is once you eliminate all the blinks of your opponent, then you win the game. So maybe I would start with a disadvantage, you really have to think about configurations and what you're trying to do and what you do next.
Out of curiosity, I'm trying to think. let's see. The arrangement. Oh, I don't know why I just blanked, but I was just thinking about uh, the number of blinks you're just saying. Right. Making a game like this work for large amounts of blinks, small amounts of blinks, it's definitely some of most of the games on blinks scale in such a way. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Was how do you imagine? So like, do you imagine this being played as a two-player game? Is it a like can I something about Pokemon always like Pokemon came out when I was maybe in middle school or something like that, and everybody had their Game Boys and would like, it's like three people would sit in a circle or something like that, and like I think you could pull out a cable and connect your Game Boys and like
Yeah.
trade.
Yeah.
Um, what's the ideal number of players for mini big bots, and like and maybe even that's I think my maybe more straightforward question is like how would you love to see people play mini big bots? Like what's that place experience look like?
The initial idea was to have two people, especially if you have, I mean, because it was originally three blinks versus three blinks, and it was just supposed to be one on one. But Dan said he actually tried it with three people, and that kind of worked. So it'd be really interesting to see what it would be like with 1v1, three 1v1v1, or maybe even 2v2, and you would have to work together to with your teammates. I mean, I'm not sure how that would work exactly. Your teammates attached to each other. You attack one or the other of your opponents. I definitely want to make sure the 1v1 works out, and it's really, really solid before branching off and seeing what the other ones should be like. Yeah, yeah. If we have that foundation, then we could build from there.
That's cool. I feel like that's been a common thread with Blinks games as well, is like you get one refined rule set that gets printed, put in the booklet, and you can play it, but it's so easy to start to make home rules and try things out that
Oh yeah.
likely if you balance it for two players, somebody will, be like, oh, it works great as four player. Just do this, this, and this.
Oh yeah. I'm totally up for people making up their own rules. That's I mean, something I do with games all the time. So
So we've got a little bit more time. I wanted to give you a chance to share. I see also in the thread some of your other games that you've made previously, things that people should check out. You mentioned that you run your event in Philadelphia, or group, I should say. But what are some other things we should look out for Sean Pierre and?
Man, I have a lot of things that I would love to finish. I mean, I'm working on a regular Cornell mobile word game right now, and I'm hoping to finish that within the next couple months, which I said a couple months ago. So we'll see what happens with that. Um, Normally, I would have worked on a few games for. There's an event that I really enjoy called Come Out and Play, which takes place in Brooklyn at Dumbo, and it's for physical and social games, and it's one of my favorite events. And I usually make a game for that. Unfortunately, it didn't happen this year, so I would have had that to. I guess it would have already happened because it's in June or July.
Did
Can't think of other. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, did the organizers, did anybody? I feel like I know some of the organizers, maybe Nick Fortunio, and
Yeah, yeah.
that it seems like the opportunity would be like stay in and play.
That'd be interesting. And just like weird social games you play over Zoom.
All Zoom games.
Yeah, that would be really fun. Um, I had this idea for a game where you have two people, one person outside, one person inside, and the person inside is telling them where to go, and they're in a race against other people doing the same thing, trying to find landmarks or certain things. But that was kind of difficult to work out. But yeah, that was supposed to be socially distanced Zoom type game. Um, it's just a lot of weird projects that I have halfway started, halfway finished. I'm working on um, this audio listening experience of someone reading letters that they wrote, and it's really. I just started it. I have a pretty general idea of where I want it to go. It's supposed to be a mystery. We'll see how that works out. And yeah, I'm doing a lot of Philly game mechanic stuff. If you ever want to see the website and join up with us, it's phillygamemechanics.com. And we're actually having a meetup tonight around 7 o'clock Eastern. So, and the link for the Zoom will be put up later. So if you want to join us and hear a few of us talk about silly things. Oh, and there is actually a game jam showcase happening. So it was a game jam where people would finish projects that they left unfinished. So you can see, hopefully, a bunch of people showing off cool games that they just haven't had a chance to finish yet. I actually just update the website, so it shows that. So if you go there right now, you might not see all that information.
I just threw a link in the chat as well, so people can check it out.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks.
Let's see. And then I guess as we're wrapping up, I'm about to get to, we are doing our weekly raffle. So we've got lots of submissions for that. Before we wrap, one of the things that all the people who've made games for Blink so far have either, like one of the first steps, I think, for a lot of people is like play through the existing games and like kind of understand, like, out of curiosity of the, I think you had the core and expansion. You had like the original 12 games. Is it fair to ask, like, what was a favorite or a standout that you're like, oh, okay, like this is?
I really like. I mean, these are games I've played before, but I really like. Fracture is something I really, really like. A game I really like, and I really like. I guess I don't have it, but Mortals. Oh no, I do have it. Mortals is one of my favorite games to play. So Fracture and Mortals, I think I really, really like. And I'm not saying the other games are I don't like them, but I think I like those two the most.
Awesome. That makes. I put you on the spot there, but it's. I always feel like I think this should be a regular. Is like being able to, I think, let designers share like which games on the system do you recommend. Maybe we'll start publishing that as well. It's like if you like Sean, if you have similar taste to Sean, check out these games first. So
yeah, good taste, but yeah.
I think taste is taste. Everybody has no such thing as good or bad taste, just taste.
That's fair. Yeah.
Let's see. So I'm going to bring up, and I guess this is my last request of you, is that I'm going to ask for a drum roll. I'm going to bring up the spreadsheet for the raffle entries. If you're curious to know how these names got on the list, there's rules each week for the raffle, and all of these raffle entries, they shared the posts and made sure to tag friends. For every friend you post, you get an extra entry into the raffle. And it looks like there's some awesome shares here that definitely make some bring people really up their chances. So a quick shout out and thanks to the Runkles are back in. Samantha, Jordan Scott, Zion, Irish Meeple, Dan Shank, Jesse Walkowiak, Ryan, Christina, lots more. And I'm going to go ahead and roll my huge Google die, picking a random number here. The dice rolled 52, and our winner for this week's is Irish Meeple. Congratulations, our Instagram winner, Irish Meeple. We'll be sending you a Blinks Core set. For everybody else watching, definitely mark your calendars for October 20th. If you're a Kickstarter backer, keep your eyes open and updates going out. Our product is shipping and all the community set games are arriving and shipping out over the next few weeks. So you'll be seeing those arriving at your doorstep soon. And if you haven't yet subscribed, definitely subscribe down below, ring the bell. Sean, it was super nice having you on for the stream today.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. And we'll attach your URL and how to follow Sean and all the amazing creations. And we're looking forward to letting you know when Sean's Mini Big Bots makes a debut on the Blinks game system, or maybe one of the other ones that you're. I feel like everybody who's making Blinks games, it's like, and I'm also going to make this one. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to working more with you, Sean. It's really a treat.
Yeah, I really enjoy working on these and with everyone in the Blinks community and production side.
Sweet. Thanks so much. Thanks, everyone, for joining the live stream.
Bye, everyone.
Later. Let's see. Now I have the end stream button here. Peace.